I'm Dan Edwards, your host, and I'm here to provide the scoop on living, working, and playing across the East Side. It is Wednesday, October 11th. I'm glad you're here. If you've got any comments or questions, feel free to type those into the comments or chat window. We would love to hear from you in real time. Feel free to also, if you are listening to a recorded version, rate our podcast anywhere podcasts are found, or if you're on YouTube, you can give us a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, all of the above. We appreciate it. And as you know, sharing is caring. We appreciate your sharing. We've got a great show lined up for you today here. In our Real Talk segment, we're going to be talking about why home prices aren't falling. And then we'll sit down with our good friend Daniel Curry for our mortgage moment. It's going to be a great show. I look forward to getting into our Real Talk segment that will start right now. All right, we're going to dive into the topic of falling prices. About a year ago, a lot of people, and I would say even more than a year ago, people said what goes up must come down, that these rising prices cannot continue forever, right? What is going on, right? As I know, there are some people that are considering taking advantage of quarter number 4 here in 2023 to find some great deals, to find some descending prices. I have to say, I am seeing a few price improvements out there, but why are home prices not falling? So since so many pundits said, what's going on? Said a year ago they were going down. Let's kind of jump into the main factors that cause home prices to fall. It goes back to your high school economics class. I am not an economist, but I play one here on this podcast. It's about supply and demand. And the number one factor causing home prices to fall is supply. So when there is an oversupply of anything, the prices are falling. So if you can think back to when you were a kid, right? And you knew that there was going to be the newest, hottest video game that was coming out, if you were like me. And when it first came out, you were paying $60 a pop, right? Because you had to have it first. You had to beat the level first. I don't know. Again, I'm just a video game guy. But as time goes on, suddenly they're offering that now for $49.95. Why? Because there is a level of abundant supply. Now, I'm not going to get to other manufacturing costs, et cetera, but let's just translate that to the housing market. So what exactly happened with our housing market over the last 2 years? Well, the first thing that happened is demand did not dry up. Demand remained the same. However, interest rates rose, and interest rates pulled some would-be buyers off the market. So again, there's still demand for housing. Let's just take away any price structure. Everybody has to live somewhere. So either you're paying your mortgage or you're paying somebody else's mortgage. So the demand for housing exists, whether interest rates are 5% or whether interest rates are 3% or whether interest rates are 8%. Now, the truth is that fewer people are buying homes because they can't afford it. They've been priced out of the market. So another factor is not just the interest rates, but the actual motivation. So in 2020 and 2021, we had this little thing called COVID, and COVID created an environment for us real estate agents that was too good to be true. Everybody wanted to move. They wanted to get a house. They wanted to get out of the city. They wanted to relocate to a different state, those types of things. So the truth of the matter, when it comes to housing prices falling, is there was a lot of movement in those years. However, those sellers now have not decided to sell. So therefore, since sellers now have decided not to sell, it didn't create an excess of inventory. The last time we had a surplus of inventory, over 3 months worth of inventory, was probably 2010 or 2011. I'd actually have to go back and look at the numbers. But what that means, folks, is not only are interest rate high and buyers aren't buying, but sellers aren't selling. So that creates, and again, that other point is that people still need a place to live. So it creates a scenario where there are still plenty of inventory, or not a lot of inventory, and not a lot of buyers. So you actually have like stagnation versus over supply. It's just stagnant. So that's where we find ourselves. And that's why we don't see falling prices. Now, sure, there's some price reductions here and there, and definitely some cracks in that around the country, as well as here around King County and Snohomish County and Pierce County. But what you are finding is a stabilization, and that's mostly because we don't have an oversupply of home. All right, so that was a pretty complicated point to answer a very simple questions, but essentially home prices, they're stabilized, and it's brought on by both supply, demand, high interest rates, and sellers not selling. That's our Real Talk segment. Thanks for watching. We're going to have a short commercial break. Then we're going to welcome Daniel Orlando back to talk about what's going on there. Come back after this short commercial break.
Are you worried about your health holding up as you age? Buying a new home often involves paying your mortgage for 15 to 30 years, and you'll need to be at your best to keep working strong as you age. Cummins Chiropractic and Wellness has helped families just like yours regain optimum health as they work hard to provide for their family. The team at Cummins Chiropractic and Wellness treats patients with both crisis care and lifestyle care with our state-of-the-art individualized services. We have seen thousands of people reach and maintain their best health as they age. To learn more about how chiropractic can help you achieve your best health, you can call Cummins Chiropractic and Wellness at 425-590-9158 or reach us online at cumminschiropractic.com.
Welcome back to the show / podcast / radio. I don't know. It's a podcast. Welcome back. Today, I'm pleased to welcome our good friend Daniel Curry, a seasoned professional at Guild Mortgage, where he is excelling in his role of a dedicated loan officer. He's got a ton of experience in the mortgage industry, and he brings a deep understanding of the financial landscapes and a commitment to providing his clients with tailored solutions for their home financing needs. So today's topic, on a podcast, somebody's calling me. I'm just going to hit that button again. Sorry about that. Oops. All right. Where was I? Yes, Daniel, our topic is buy now versus wait for rates to drop. So, all right. When is the best time to buy a house, Daniel?
You know, the best time to buy a house is last week, last month, or last year. Is kind of the way I like to describe it to people. And the reason for I say that is because so many people are stuck in this rut of, well, I want to wait until interest rates go down, or have a million different reasons why it's not the right time to buy the house for them right now. And the reality of the situation is the right time to buy a house is when it makes sense for your family, your life, where you're at in life. Interest rates, are the thing that people gravitate onto or latch onto because it's what they know and understand, right? It's a number that is able to be compared between lenders or between periods of time. What a lot of people don't realize is there's advantages and disadvantages to waiting for both markets to happen. But as I typically tell people, it is a decision that is based on where your family's at and what's best for your particular situation, set of circumstances, not necessarily predicated on interest rates.
No, I like that, Daniel. The truth of the matter is I think real estate agents and lenders talk a lot about interest rates, and most buyers just want to buy a home, right?
Right.
It's not it is an important consideration in buying a home to understand how much you can qualify to purchase. But most importantly, if you are a growing family, or if you have to relocate, this one to me is like the biggest. I get a lot of people saying, "Hey, we're relocating to the area. We're going to wait and rent for a little bit." Meanwhile, they throw about $30,000 out the window in our market by waiting just 1 year, right? And that is in equity. Okay, so it all depends on liquidity, because as I mentioned in the Real Talk segment, home prices are not falling, right, precipitously at this time. So why do you say interest rates should or shouldn't influence your decision?
So to start with, as far as interest rates predicating your decision, again, it's not really something that I lean into heavily. I look at more so a holistic view of that person's their life and what's going on in their life. And the thing is that while people believe that, I got to wait till interest rates come down, you made a great point that people are throwing away thousands of dollars each month in our market, two or three plus $1,000 a month in rent. But when interest rates are up, it allows you to have a lot of different advantages. You have less people in the market that you're fighting for a house with, meaning that you have homes that are sitting on the market longer, which allows you more ability to be able to negotiate, look into seller concessions, um, allow you to be able to make a decision in a normal time frame, meaning you look at a house today, you look at another house tomorrow, and you give it a day or two, you kind of sleep on it, decide, okay, this is the house I want to buy, as opposed to in a down interest rate market where you see people literally go in, and if you're not putting an offer in while you're standing in the house, you probably have already lost that house. Um, so while it sounds great that your interest rate is lower, and that's great that you can talk to your neighbor and say, hey, I got a 3% interest rate. Well, you may have a 3% interest rate, but if you paid 70, 80, $90,000 more for a house, that payment ends up coming out to be comparable to somebody who jumped in the market during a little bit higher interest rate time period. But what you can't do is you can't go back and get that equity you built in that market back.
Yeah.
When interest rates come down, instead of having to fight with everybody to get your foot in the door of a house that you love, you can sit back and enjoy the house that you already love and go, I think now is the time I want to refinance and reduce my payment. Meanwhile, taking advantage of the tax benefits, taking advantage of the equity that you've built, and being able to have a stress-free environment to decide when is right for your family to refinance and bring that interest rate down.
Yeah. Well, and I think another important point that you made there is what happens when interest rates drop, right? What do you think will
Right.
happen?
So when there's so many people hanging out on the fence right now, watching the market, waiting to pounce on the market when the time comes that is the perfect time to time the market, right? As interest rates drop, you're going to see millions of people nationwide that are jumping back into the market, which increases the amount of competition. It drives prices up, and it makes it harder for you to be able to get any kind of seller concessions. So if you don't have your 3, 5, 20% down, whatever it is that you need to be able to make that work, you're going to find yourself hard pressed to be able to buy a house in that kind of a market. I've been working with a lot of borrowers recently into the Washington State Down Payment Assistance Program, and right now they can get those offers accepted because there's really not a lot of competition against those kind of offers. So I think what'll end up happening is you're going to see a lot more people fighting over the few homes that are available, and that drives prices up, competition up, and makes it more of a stressful environment to buy a house in.
Yeah, I would say anybody out there that is renting right now, your rent goes up every year, every
Yep,
year. So that's a
100%.
consideration. And let's just picture, if you will, the economy getting better, because where we're at now, the economy can get better. Obviously, the jobs report that came out was really helpful, but also hurtful from the lending standpoint.
Right.
But it was helpful because it says, oh, we got a healthy economy. So here's what we're going to see. This is how it will unfold. My experience is I'm going to predict it, but hey, I could be wrong. Okay. Is next year, as interest rates fall, people are going to say, it's time to go ahead and get that house. And listing inventory won't happen fast enough because the latency here is, oh, well, before I sell, I need to know where I'm going. New construction has slowed some, but it needs to actually keep going, but it won't because the financing terms are too tough. So that will be the case. And then a buyer that today could find a $600,000 or $700,000 house and get maybe $25,000 in seller concessions to help buy the rate down. They can do a permanent or a 3-2-1 buy down. Who would have a better than what they're paying in mortgage interest rate for the first year, and then and that person would be in their house, like you said, relaxing, versus somebody who says, hey, I'm going to wait till interest rates come down, and next year they're out there fighting with everybody else, and instead of getting a $25,000 credit, they're offering $60,000 above asking. So take your pick, but I have to tell you that if we were to look in the rearview mirror, I'm going to predict that this fourth quarter is the best time to buy a home for a buyer in any market. You just need to get the interest rate you want, and don't you pay for it, have the seller pay for it. So yeah. And so Daniel, you guys of course do the 3-2-1 buy downs and all that good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, we do.
If anybody wants information on a 3-2-1 buy down, how do they get a hold of you?
They can reach out to me directly. My phone numbers are on the screen, but it's 425-239-0788. I'd be happy to go through your particular circumstances and your particular plan and find a strategy that's going to work best for you right now.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you coming on today.
Likewise, I appreciate being here. Can you tell me a little bit about kind of what you're seeing for inventory levels on the east side right now?
Yes, they're about 20% down over what they were last year this time.
Wow.
Pendings are about 10% down, and solds are about 10% down. So we're at just under 2 months of inventory, which is actually a little more than August. So September actually did add some inventory, which is going to do seasonally anyways.
That makes total sense. Yeah. Thank you for the valuable insight.
Yeah, you bet. All right. So as we finish up our show, as we wrap things up, I just want to point out we got a couple of things that are happening right now. Halloween spirit down in Lacey. We've got a haunted house let's see, where is it at? Marvin Road, 4548 Marvin Road, Lacey Haunted House. We got a chocolate tour. This is the Seattle chocolate tour that starts at Cupcake Royale at 106th, and then a family Halloween party out in Black Diamond. If you're looking for fun, that is October 13th. That's this Friday the 13th. Enjoy, wear light sticks. I guess there's going to be a dance floor, some spooky drinks. There's lots of awesome, fun things to do this time of year. So I hope you'll get out and enjoy them. And that concludes our podcast. Thanks for watching Seattle's Eastside Real Estate Podcast. I am managing broker of the Eastside Real Estate team. Thanks to our guest, Daniel, for coming on today from Guild Mortgage. I want you all to have a wonderful and safe week this week. Thank you.
Thank you.